welcome to another episode of the Hotspur Huddle, where today we've got loads to talk about, which I'm really excited about, and I can't wait to dive into it with my two favourite.
I'm good, thanks. Good to be back. And yeah, just ready to talk all things football. I am so gassed. It's going to be a good one.
It really is, it really is, and also joined by once again Wes, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm all right. Although I think you haven't paid your Wi-Fi bill, Holly, because you keep lagging. But
Right.
we will, I'm sure, get through quite a lot in not a short space of time because that is what we do. But yeah, it's nice to be back. Couple of weeks off for various different reasons, but we are so back. We are so back, guys, and we are
Oh,
ready for it.
we really are, and like always, obviously this show is sponsored by the amazing Kofa. So Wes gonna let you go away and do your thing.
Yeah, so Kofa or Kickoff Football Academy Milton Keynes run lots and lots of different football sessions in the Milton Keynes area. Obviously, just come off the back of a fantastic holiday camp for Halloween, which we posted about earlier. So if people haven't checked that out, go check it out on TikTok and Instagram and show us some love on there. But more importantly, if you have a young son or daughter who wants a little bit of extra coaching, then please get in touch because yeah, we'd really love to help them along their footballing journey.
Lovely stuff. So go check out Kofa. And obviously, welcome to everybody else that's tuning into the show tonight. I am doing this over on Twitter as well. So I've actually gone live on Twitter too. So make sure if you are on Twitter, you are watching, come say hello in the chat. And without further ado, let's kick things off. First of all, Wes, I'm going to come to you because obviously it was a great night for Spurs the other day, playing against Villa. What did you make of that game?
It was a good evening, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Maybe for Spurs, but not for Villa. I think the Villa game itself was pretty much a carbon copy of the West Ham game, where really slow, sluggish first half, really from Tottenham, and then second half came out with a bit of a point to prove. But I actually thought in the first half, Aston Villa were absolutely brilliant, and I think Unai Emery deserved a lot of credit in that first half for the way he set Villa up tactically. They had us really, and yeah, I was kind of glad that we sort of came out with that point to prove second half, and yeah, scored some really good goals. The Solanke, the first one, is a delicious goal. The finish is outrageous, although I think Martinez does make Solanke's mind up for him because I think Martinez goes down really early. I think if Martinez stays big for maybe even like half a second or a second longer, then it gives Solanke a little bit of a different finish to kind of think about. But like I say, I think it was just a really, really good win. I think it was needed because, you know, in the past we've come up against teams who are sort of in and around us at a similar stage to where we are, I would say, and not really, you know, got the results. Whereas this one just felt really sweet.
No, it really did, and it was nice as well to see Solanke getting those goals because obviously Nelson, as not being a Spurs fan, obviously you must hear the noise and stuff, and other fans saying, "Oh, well, he hasn't scored. What is he doing? He's supposed to be a striker." What have you kind of made of Solanke?
I think he's actually fitting really well with the side, and I'm really, really pleased for him, especially bagging those two goals. I think moving forward, I think it's all about him taking that opportunity as that main man. We saw, HK do it for years, scoring 20 plus goals a season. I think it's a big, these are big boots to fill. But I think if last game is anything, I think it's a good way. I think it will give him a massive boost of confidence moving forward. So yeah, I would say I'm very pleased for him actually because I do like him as a player. As Wes knows, I'm very a big fan of his celebrations as well. So as much as I don't want him scoring four, I just get to see the celebrations. So I'm excited to actually see what he comes up with next. But I think for the whole team, I think it was a great result for you guys on the weekend. I think that second half was one of the best ones I've seen all season from you guys. So yeah, it was a great win.
No, it was good. Obviously, sadly, the other side of North London. I mean, I say sadly, I'm kind of thinking of yours perspective now. So obviously, you went to Newcastle and didn't quite get the win. But how did you kind of pin that down to? What was it? Is it that they're your bogey team? How did you kind of see that one?
To be fair, Newcastle haven't really been our bogey team. I think we've gone there St James's Park and have actually had not so bad results. I think the last season was the one with the whole VAR sort of thing, but I think we've had good performances. But on the weekend, that was probably one of the worst performances Arsenal fans have seen in the last 3-4 years since Arteta's been in charge. And I don't know what it was down to, Holly, if I'm being honest. I'm trying to pinpoint something, but I just think players didn't turn up. And I think Newcastle were just the better side at the end of the day. You have to give massive credit to Newcastle, who do have a nice run of fixtures, and they probably need that win themselves as well with what they've been going through as well. So it was just a really bad performance. Obviously, you can blame it to lack of injuries and whatnot, but if you're trying to challenge for the league, these things matter, and you need to take advantage in any given situation. So they didn't do that. We lost. We just got to move on to the next game.
No, definitely. I mean, for us, Wes, it was quite nice, wasn't it?
It's a shame about the Arsenal, isn't it? To be honest. But again, I think to kind of echo what Nelson said, I think Newcastle again were absolutely brilliant. Like on the day, didn't really give Arsenal that moment to really breathe. I think they got their tactics spot on, especially out of possession. I mean, the ball in from Gordon is absolutely delicious as well. It's literally begging for somebody to just attack it and redirect it, and that's literally what Isak did. And what I really liked about Isak's header was the placement. How many times do you see a centre forward in that position? Because it's pretty much what we tell centre forwards, which is to head it down. But I think Isak sort of looked at where Raya was previously and has gone to head it high. A little bit similar to Gardevo's goal against Bournemouth, in the sense that both of those headers have gone really high into the corner. To then sort of give the goalkeeper no chance. But yeah, I just thought Newcastle again were just absolutely brilliant. Pressed well, didn't give Arsenal that moment's peace. They didn't want them to rest. They were bang at it, I think, from minute one. And it's a disappointing result for Arsenal, but I don't think it's one of those. Put it this way, like if Arsenal had come off the back of, say, a couple of wins or a couple more sort of positive results, I think it's just one of them that Arsenal just sort of box off and go, look, bad day at the office. But I think what's that now, 3 games in or 3 Premier League games without a win now for Arsenal. So we know the relentless nature of the Premier League, and if you want to win it, you almost have to be near perfect. So I don't know if this period, I wouldn't say it's going to define Arsenal's season, but you could look back on it come the end of the season and go, okay, it was at this point where things weren't going well for us. But listen, there's still a lot of football to be played, so who knows? Arsenal could come back, and I assume that they will bounce back from it in a good way. I think they've got Chelsea this weekend, so that'll be an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting week, I think, for both of us, because obviously, Nelson, you play tonight against Inter, and then, like Wes says, you've got Chelsea at the weekend. I mean, how are you kind of preparing for those 2 games, do you think?
I'm a weird fan because I actually don't think we're going to do well in these games. Now, obviously, the boys can go and prove me wrong tonight in the Champions League against Inter, but you're facing a really good, stubborn Inter side. And with the likes of Marcus Thuram, Lautaro Martinez, Dumfries, you're talking world-class players, and they have a brilliant manager. I do rate the manager as well. He doesn't get enough props in Serie A, and I want to give him his props. And then you got Chelsea on the weekend. I think Enzo has actually done a good job, not a remarkable job, but I think he's actually done a good job to kind of weather the storm, because I think, at the beginning of the season, it was a bit kind of, there was a bit of the unknown, but I think he's kind of now identified his team, what he wants to play out every day. And I think his midfield as well looking quite impressive as well, of Caicedo and Lavia in there. So I am not looking forward to that game on Saturday against Chelsea. I think Chelsea will put up a good fight, but who knows? Who knows at the end of the day? I think the return of Martin Odegaard plays a big part in how, we move forward with the season, because he is the linchpin, he is the captain, everything ticks around him. Everybody kind of elevates every player. So I think Arsenal fans have been begging for him to be back. So I think it's a good time this week to kind of lift the spirits of the fans, and you go wait and see what happens. But I think, like Wes said, I do expect Arsenal to bounce back. We'll just have to wait and see.
No, great points, Ness. I think you're right. I mean, from Spurs' perspective as well, obviously, Ness was talking about Odegaard coming back. We've got a few players missing now, Wes, and obviously with Galatasaray tomorrow, which is going to be interesting, and then Ipswich at the weekend. It's going to be an interesting way how Ange kind of manages the players.
Yeah, I think this is where the squad comes into its own in this period where we've got Mickey, who's going to miss obviously tomorrow and then out for the Ipswich game, should be back after the international break. I think Romero's touch and go. I think for Sunday probably won't. He's not going to make tomorrow. He didn't even travel with the squad. Mikey Moore didn't travel either. He's ill. Richarlison, who's bloody injury prone, out for another month, which is a shame because I think there was times against West Ham and Villa where you just go, I absolutely love this guy. Like, I have missed you, Pombo. Like, genuinely missed you just for his roughhousery. Do you know what I mean? Just nicking these little fouls here and there, etc. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think Werner's travelled either, because he is so back after ending Pep Guardiola and Man City. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think credit to Dragishin. I think he's come in and been brilliant. The Welsh Maldini, give him his flowers. Give him his flowers. Like, he deserves it. He's never gets the praise he deserves, Ben Davies, but he has been an ever reliable player for Tottenham over the years. Has never moaned, has never sulked, and has just got on with the job. Like I say, I think he gets unfairly treated by a lot of fans because he's not the most glamorous of player, but he is somebody that you need, I think, at every club. So yeah, like I say, I think the squad's going to come into its own in this next period. And then even potentially after the international break as well. But Galatasaray away is not going to be easy. Like, they've probably got the best forward line in Turkish football that Turkish football has seen for a generation or two. With Osimhen and Icardi. And yeah, I'm just waiting for that goal notification to come through. Davinson Sanchez, 91st minute, winner, 1-0 Galatasaray. Holly, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Why do I keep doing that? Sorry, I was saying, you're right. I think that is probably the case. Like you say, we'll see the notification. It'll be Sanchez that's done it, because it'll just be true Spurs fashion.
Aurier assist as well, by the way. Throwing that out there. Just double bubble.
I was going to say it's the dumping ground for Spurs players, but they'll know when to come back and bite us on the bottom, and it'll probably be tomorrow. But talking about other things, I want to move on because obviously, Nelson, there's been a little bit of action happening, shall I say, at Man United over the last couple of weeks since we've been away, and that is the sacking of Ten Hag. So what did you kind of make of it?
I'm surprised it took that long. I think he needed to go. And what's really sad, because I know Wes will fill me on this, is the team that he formed at Ajax. We're talking football heritage, and we're talking a manager that developed really talented young players and actually had a philosophy. And he's come at United, and I don't know what's gone on. It just seems like he was plagued by what United's going through. There's a disease going around that club at that moment, from ownership, from top to bottom, and he just got sick at the end of the day. And unfortunately, he got sacked. So I feel sad from that perspective of seeing a manager like that, as talented as Ten Hag was when he first came in for the job, get that sacking. But I think, he hasn't been supported by the players. I think the players really let him down with the performances that they had. And as well, the board as well didn't support him in making the signings that he needed to then take United to the next level, because he was confident in his ability as a coach, but it just didn't seem to execute with the players. So it was quite sad. But to be fair, which is why I'm really worried for Ruben, the new guy who's come in, and obviously with his wonderful performance against City, you're just worried that he potentially could go through the same issues that Ten Hag has faced. You're hoping not, because obviously United are a massive club. They've been at the top for years, and I guess, as much as we as fans hate them, it seems wrong for them to just be in that kind of mid-table section. And who knows what Ruben could do. But I'm kind of worried for him, because I don't want him to go through the same kind of time that Ten Hag has spent. But it was about time. It took a bit longer than usual, but yeah, I think it was the right call to make. And I think United fans will probably be happy as well, especially after last night's performance that he did against City.
No, I was quite enjoying it, him being at the helm, so I'm a bit gutted that he's gone. But Wes, what do you make of all of it? And obviously the new guy that's come in, Ruben.
Put it this way, I was watching something the other day, and a journalist turned around and said about Ten Hag's relationship with the press and that it was quite good. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute, you lot have absolutely battered him for 2.5 years, like battered him for his philosophy, for his playing style, for recruitment, etc. And he had to defend himself naturally, as you would, and his go-to was trophies. Now, put it this way, and I think Ange came out with it as well, like, trophies guarantee that you're going to be in the job longer. Well, Ten Hag's proof that it it's not. And Nelson was bang on. Like, that Ajax team of 2019 was one of the best teams that I have come across in my time being a football fan. Like, there was just ballers like everywhere, and the way it functioned as a team as well was it was clockwork. And obviously they gave us a lesson back in 2019 in that Champions League semi-final in the first leg at White Hart Lane. But yeah, I think, put it this way, I don't think Ten Hag was the issue, and Nelson's bang on. I genuinely think you could put Pep in at United, and Pep would incur the same problems as Ten Hag, as Mourinho, as Louis van Gaal, as Rangnick, as Carrick interims, Ruud van Nistelrooy interim, like Moyes. There's a deep-rooted problem at Man United, and that is that they don't know what they're doing in the nicest possible way. They don't know what they're doing because they had one of the greatest ever managers there for such a long time who controlled everything. He then goes, and then it's like, okay, what do we do now? And people are asking questions like, oh, Fergie used to do that, Fergie used to do that, Fergie used to do that. Well, now all of a sudden they need to employ 3 or 4 different people to do the jobs that perhaps Fergie was doing. But yeah, I think the interesting thing for me is that it felt like they wanted to trust Ten Hag with player recruitment, and I believe that they did to a certain degree, because if you look at his signings, near enough 90% of them are players that he knows and he's worked with previously, and it was kind of like, right, let's try and get a reunion for the Ajax 2019 team. But then at the same time, there was almost this sort of interference that, like, oh, we can't get you Frenkie de Jong because that was the one that he wanted. I genuinely think he didn't want Casemiro because he probably gone, he can't move, he can't shift, and I need Frenkie. If anybody's watched that Ajax team, you will understand how key Frenkie de Jong was to absolutely everything. Like, everything went through him. And then he's ended up with Casemiro. He's ended up with a couple of other players that I genuinely don't think he wanted. That, you know, there's rumours he didn't want Xerxes, and then Xerxes rocked up a stone overweight to training, and things like that. So yeah, I think the problems at United are far deeper rooted than we know and that we're led to believe. So yeah, like I say, I think you could put Pep in at United and he'd struggle. On one hand, I did feel for him because it's not like he never had his best team available. It was kind of like Mourinho at Tottenham in that sense. Like, it was always one thing after another that was going on. But yeah, and I think his problem was Ange was a problem for Ten Hag, in the sense of Ange has come in and all of a sudden we can identify exactly how we're going to set up, exactly how we're going to play, on and off the ball and in different moments of the game. And obviously Pep being across the road, and it's like, okay, well, he's doing that, you got to do that as well. Like, it kind of felt like the brief from United was, bring your Ajax stuff over here and we'll see what we can do in it. Yeah, I don't think it was ever going to be a long-lasting relationship. It felt really love-hate, but it felt love-hate really quickly. And yeah, I think Nelson's bang on as well. He should have probably gone in the summer, but I don't think they felt that the managers available in the summer were going to come. I genuinely think they wanted Southgate, but he turned them down. I think they wanted Southgate, but they wanted him in quicker, but he had said, no, I want to see out the Euros with England, so that kind of left that one. I genuinely thought they would go back in for him and Potter, but listen, they've got a good young up-and-coming coach in Ruben Amorim, who's going to set up completely differently, so it's going to be interesting to see how United look now.
I was going to say that leads us quite into getting the tactic board out. So I'm going to put it on the screen for you, Wes, and you can do a breakdown of how you think Ruben's United is going to set up.
So I've got the in white here, obviously close to Sporting, and I think as we saw a couple of seasons ago when we did play Sporting, 3-4-2-1 if you like, or 3-4-3. Diamonde is in this sort of sweeper role here. Really quick centre back as well, who can cover the ground, especially if the wider centre backs are pulled out of position. I believe the player that was in before him was a player that most people in the Premier League might know is Sebastian Coates. He's got Ignacio as a left-footed centre back, really, really talented young Portuguese centre back as well. The wing backs are quite key for him. Obviously, they provide the width within the team. I think he had Nuno Santos when Spurs played against Sporting, and again, really dogged, like up and down type of player. These two players here are going to be key. I think he has got Trincao, who drifts in and creates little pockets. Marcus Edwards as well is another one. But the main man up front, the man of the moment, Victor Gyökeres. I mean, Amorim's turned him into an absolute beast. I'm not going to lie. Yes, I did have my reservations about him potentially signing for Spurs in the summer. My reservations were around his goal record and the fact that he's only really bagged 20 plus goals once in a fairly top league. But now he is looking the part, and I think 20 million euros looks an absolute bargain. The midfield too is going to be quite interesting. Obviously, he's worked with Ugarte before. He's now at United. And what's going to be really interesting is the mobility of these two in the midfield here. Going to need a lot of legs. So, yeah, I think Casemiro is going to get phased out pretty quick. So I have a feeling it will be probably Ugarte and Kobbie Mainoo who are going to be sort of the main linchpins of Man United's midfield when they are both fit and available. But yeah, he's going to need some extra legs in there. Because I think after Ugarte and Mainoo, I don't think there's a lot there for United in terms of legs, in terms of covering the ground. They've got some aging players that they need to try and shift, but obviously they're on big wages, so good luck.
I think you made some great points there, Wes. It will be interesting to see how he does kind of set up with this United team. But we're going to move our attention to the WSL. And Nelson, I'm going to come to you because obviously it was a 1-1 draw between Arsenal and United. So what did you kind of make of the game?
I think it was a fair result. I managed to watch the game, and I think it was quite a fair result. I think Arsenal played well. I think United played well. I think Arsenal had a better second half than United did, which resulted in our goal. And I think for United fans, it must have hurt kind of bittersweet to see Alessia Russo bag against her former club. I think it was always coming. So I think she was delighted. But I think just Arsenal just need to, that defence is still a bit leaky in my opinion. After seeing some games live this season, I think we still need to be a bit sure on the fence. I think Leah Williamson, I've kind of put it out there to a lot of people because I was also there when England faced Germany and it was a massive 4-3 loss, and I just felt as though she was not cut out to be playing football right now, and that was a big unpopular opinion from me. And I remember I got so much hate from everyone around me, but I just kind of pointed out that she was not up to speed with things. I think obviously any player needs to run her games, and I think that's obviously what she's just missing, but I just don't think her mental's in it too, and I've just noticed that she's just kind of in and out, but who knows what will happen moving on. I think she just needs to run her games, but I just think the defense is still leaky, and I think that's how United kind of capitalized. And United have been very good. I think Wes mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. They've been very good this season. Their defense has been sturdy. Maya Letitia being my favorite of the picks in defense so far this season. And yeah, I think it was a fair result at the end of the day. So I think Arsenal fans will be happy. I think United fans will be happy. I think just moving on, I think both teams will be looking to kick on from there.
No, definitely. It's quite nice looking at the league table because obviously the difference in positions between us and Arsenal. We did manage to beat West Ham all around. But what did you make of the 2-1 victory over West Ham?
Yeah, I assume that's for me, Holly, because you lagged right in the middle. You were in full flow, so make sure you pay your bill for your Wi-Fi. But yeah, I think it was a really much needed result for the girls. Obviously, going 1-0 down, never ideal, but to come back, I think shows a lot about this team that Rob is building. And yeah, it was nice for the girls to get a win. Obviously, I think they've had 3 straight defeats. As well, so yeah, hopefully now the team can sort of kick on. And I know we spoke fairly recently about where Tottenham are in terms of their journey as a club and as a team. I think the aim for them has to be to sort of finish as the best of the rest. And yeah, I think if they can obviously continue to pick up points against the teams sort of lower down the table, then it's a case of, when it comes to like North London Derby and against the other sort of top teams within the league, it'll just be a case of it is what it is. But yeah, I think obviously good news as well. Becky Spencer signed a new contract. I know she's a big personality within the group, big player for Spurs, hasn't really let us down in any sort of moments, and she's a reggae girl as well, so big up. Yeah, I think she had a really good World Cup as well, did Becky Spencer. So it was just nice to see the girls get a win, because it's been a little while.
No, correct. And obviously, next up, Nelson, is the North London Derby. So that is going to be an interesting one for all of us. So how do you find that?
Oh, wow. Okay, that is going to be a wild one. Okay. I actually don't know how it's going to go. Obviously, you guys, for the first time last season, beat us. And that for me was so horrible to watch, just because I felt like the women's were going to have their dominance for a long time. But no, football's football at the end of the day. And I actually don't know how it will go. I think it's going to be a feisty one. Because I think the fact that there's a lack of identity, I think you guys have more of an identity than we do right now. So I think you guys will have more togetherness. I think there'll be a lot more fluidity with what Rob's trying to do. And I think for us, it's just trying to figure out how to win. And I just think forgetting about kind of the togetherness that's in the squad right now. So I actually think, some early prediction. I know you haven't asked me yet, Holly, but I think I'm going to go for a draw, actually. But we'll have to wait and see.
So it will be interesting. How about you as well, Wes?
I mean, Nelson's made some really good points there in terms of identity and playing styles, etc. I think there's a lot of experience there in this Arsenal team. Like, you look through it, obviously, with Leah at the back, you got like Katie McCabe, Beth Mead, Russo, even though she's fairly young, got a lot of experience behind her. Is Kim Little still there, Nels? Yeah. So again, another experienced player. So, there's plenty of experience, I think, in this Arsenal team. And I get the current state of both teams, but I think, from an Arsenal perspective, like I say, there's a lot of experience in there, so they should be looking to get the job done. Having said that, Spurs will be flying off the back of their win. Arsenal's form has been really indifferent this year as well, so it could be a fairly good time, I would say, from Spurs' point of view, to be playing against Arsenal, because their form is indifferent, because, as Nelson called out, my dog, Leah, she's in and out of form. Beth Mead hasn't really been firing on all cylinders like we're used to seeing. As well, so yeah, this could be a good time to play Arsenal, and hopefully we sneak a sneaky little 1-0. I'll take that for sure.
That would be nice, definitely 100%. That kind of moves us on to Wes's favourite part of the night, which is FPL, because Wes, you have done quite well this week, haven't you? I'm going to share it on the screen.
Mate, run it up. We are so back. Look at that. 50 points. Let's get cracking, people. Probably that's my highest scoring week on FPL. I think, well, to be fair, I did have Ruben Diaz in. I took him out I put him in for Van der Ven, but then obviously he was injured, and I'm like, oh, brilliant! Like, I've lost points there. I could have put another player in. Then I get some lovely messages from Nelson saying, okay, relax, calm, because Isak's on your bench. Don't panic. You're going to get your points. You might get your points for Isak, and then I check the app today, and yeah, I've got them. So yeah, had a good week. Although I'm tempted to take out Jared Bowen. To be honest, he's not done it for me. So I'm obviously looking at Antoine Semenyo at the moment and what he's doing at Bournemouth. And yeah, I'm tempted to put him in. The thing that's really bugging me as well is Nelson's shout of Chris Wood, because since Nelson has said about Chris Wood, he has been on absolute flames. So yeah, it's just bugging me. Obviously, I had Havertz in, thought he was going to do all right, and then he just put his kit on. But no, I had a good week. Salah got me some good points. That guy Wells with an assist. Isak with a goal. Gay with a goal. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I got my first 50 on FPL. So yeah, I want to say it's one of my highest scoring weeks that I've had.
Oh, smoking it, especially the players getting the goals as well. You've nailed that,
Yeah,
Wes.
Morgan Rogers as well. He nicked me a goal. I wasn't too happy when he scored mine, but yeah, when he did, I was there like, oh, as fantasy points. My dad was fuming.
I can imagine. Oh dear. We're going to move as well to Nelson's team. So Wes is banging on, he got 50 points, and Nelson comes straight in and smashes it out of the park.
Yeah, man. I had to like do. I just knew before the start of the game, I just felt as though Haaland was not the person to captain. I don't know why. I had a sixth sense and just thought, let me not captain. So I went to Mo Salah. And I think Salah is top of the overall player standings of the points that he's got. I think he's been sensational for Liverpool this season. So I think I'm keeping him as my captain for this weekend. I am going to make a big call, guys. I'm going to sell Erling Haaland this weekend. I'm going to sell Erling Haaland, even though they're playing against Brighton away. I just think for the 50 million that he's worth, you could get two good mid-play strikers. Obviously, Wes having Isak's a shout, but the person who I'm actually thinking is Mateus Cunha of Wolves, because Mateus Cunha, I think, has been a very good player for Wolves so far. Kind of contributes with the goals and assists. His expected goals is quite high, and in terms of the weekend fixtures, there are two fixtures I'm looking at. It's Wolves against Southampton and Spurs versus Ipswich, because I think you guys don't let me down. Like, just don't let me down, because I need Big Dom to come for me. I think Dom is the guy to get so far. He's red hot. And also Mateus Cunha. Those are my two signings that I'm looking to make. But overall, I'm happy with my week so far. I think Anthony Robinson surprised me, because heading into Fulham versus Brentford, I think a lot of people were praying that Mbeumo would have, done something. But I checked the score and see that Anthony Robinson's got me a couple of points there, so I'm kind of excited. But it's a mixed bag of a week. So we'll wait and see. I don't know about selling about Jared Bowen though, Wes, because I think the fact that he's got Everton at home could be a favourable fixture for him.
Yeah, so I've looked at it and gone, okay, we'll see how he gets on this week. If he drops an absolute stinker, mate, he's gone. But yeah, interesting shout for Cunha, because Wolves have been absolutely terrible. They're one of my tips actually to go down Wolves, because I just think they're feeling the pinch of selling their best players and not replacing them well enough. So that was an interesting shout for Cunha from you.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got a clue. I mean, I've shown mine. I don't know why I bother showing mine, because I don't remember to change my team, and then I have a hissy fit when I see my bench and I'm like, oh, fabulous, my players are injured again. So yeah, that's kind of what I went with. Again, Rogers, the highest scoring player in my team. And Isaac, sorry. But apart from that, there wasn't really a lot to talk about, to be honest with you. I need a proper sit down with myself and put it in my diary to actually look at my team. But I'm sure going next week I might have a better run. But like I say, I think you two are the better gurus at this game than I am. But like I say, it's been amazing tonight. Short and sweet, but we've covered so much. It's been a good evening. Again, thank you to everybody that's been in the chat. Obviously, Darren's here. Solanke and Brennan to score a brace each. I'm down with that. I like that. Good talking, Darren. But like I say, we'll go around the table, say our goodbyes. But once again, Wes, it's been amazing to have you on the Hotspur Huddle. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be on a Wednesday. Literally Monday Night Football Plus is how I christen it. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Wezo10, the unofficial Moussa Dembele fan account, as everybody knows. Usually tweeting about the greatest Belgian to ever grace Premier League shores. Instagram's at Wezo32. I'm at the game on Sunday as well against Ipswich, as Bielsa once said. So looking forward to being at the lane as always. And then Kofa MK or Kickoff Football Academy across your socials for anything football coaching related.
Lovely stuff. Thanks again, Wes. Make sure everybody go check out Kofa as well. And Nelson, where can everybody find you doing your thing too?
Oh, there's a lot. You've left me till last. I feel like Wes always has the whole thing. But no, you guys can find me just on Instagram, guys, at nnatumba. So at N, my surname at the bottom, nnatumba25 on Instagram.
Lovely jubbly. And like I say, we'll be live again on Monday, probably Hotspur's live, and we'll be live again next Wednesday for the Hotspur Huddle. So we're getting back into a rhythm once again because the fixtures are going to start coming thick and fast. But like I say, thank you to everybody that's watched, that's going to rewatch, all that good stuff. And like we always say all the time, and I always say it and I forget Nelson's here. Until next time, I'll use Fed.